All right, so welcome guys, and here we want to continue from the last class. So in the last class, we discussed about malware threats. We did talk about different types of malware, and we even went ahead to use MSF Venom to create our malware. And if I could just show you on my desktop of my Kali Linux, you see the malware we created in the last class is sitting here. So we named it AntiVirus. And so what we want to do in this very tutorial, very straightforward. First off, we want to upload the malware we have created. So we have to upload it for analysis. We want to see how many antivirus solutions are able to detect our malware. And so we have a couple of resources where we could do this on the internet. But for now, we're going to use antiscan.me. So you could see the different resources here. So I'm going to upload this malware on antiscan.me. We also have virustotal.com as well as nodistribu.com, right? So we want to analyze this malware and see how many antivirus solutions are able to detect that is a malware. We'll hop over to the Kali machine once again, and then we're going to open the terminal. First thing first, we'll have to ensure that the Kali machine can get to the internet. And we can do this by just issuing a ping, and we go ping google.com real quick. And once we're able to get to Google, that means the Kali machine has access to the internet. And then go ahead and open a web browser and navigate to antiscan.me. Here we go. The Kali is responding to a ping from Google. So Ctrl+C to abort the ping, and once again, clear screen. And now I should be able to open my Firefox here on the Kali machine. All right, so let's wait for the Firefox to launch, and here we go. So just open another tab and head up to antiscan.me. All right. So let's wait for the web page to open, and we're going to upload the malware. So just hang on for the page to open. All right, so this is the web page, antiscan.me, and this page is actually made for security professionals, for sandboxing, malware analysis, and all that. And so what we do here is to upload a file, okay? So you could see no file is selected yet, so click on Browse. And it's going to navigate to our system. So you could see here on the desktop of our machine, we have a malware. What you name your malware when you are creating it is up to you. So here, we named it AntiVirus. We also have another one here we named something32.exe. So they're about the same size. So this is 73.8 kilobytes, same thing as this, 73.8 kilobytes. Maybe we use the one named something32.exe. And then we hit on open. And you could see here that the malware is uploaded here, something32.exe. And below here, you see a scan file button. So click on scan file and just hang on for the different antivirus solutions we have on this website to scan the malware. Then we're going to look at the outcome. All right, so here is the result of the scan. And you can see here that out of 26 antivirus solutions, 20 detected this as a malware. All right, so we're able to bypass 6 different vendors. And let's scroll down and see who are the vendors that detected us. So you could see AD-Aware Antivirus, there is Avast, there is AVG. So these guys picked up the file as a malware, including Bitdefender. All right, so you saw it as a Trojan. Bullguard couldn't detect it as a malware, so you could see we are seeing it here as a clean file from Bullguard Persuasive, and here with Dr. Web, seeing it as a clean file. All right, so come over this side, Zero Antivirus, seeing it as a clean file. So what we want to mention here is that these vendors that are seeing the malware as a clean file basically do not detect that this is a Trojan. All right, so it means the Trojan has been able to bypass those antivirus solutions. And here we have WebRoot and Windows Defender picked it as a Trojan, Metapreter, Sophos Antivirus picked it, Panda Antivirus couldn't pick it, right? Kaspersky, F-Secure, Fortinet, McAfee, all these picked it up as a Trojan or another form of malware. All right, so here we'll be able to have an insight. So, of course, if the antivirus solution we are using in our on-premises equipment systems happen to be maybe Kaspersky, McAfee, then that is good news. So our antivirus solutions is able to pick out this basic malware we created. All right, for those that are not able to pick it out as a malware, that's actually a sign of concern. We'll probably have to update the virus definitions, or we'll probably have to look elsewhere for another vendor antivirus, right? So that's why we upload it here. So just to help us to make an informed decision and advise our clients accordingly on which antivirus solution they should use in their systems, corporate devices in their office. All right, so that's what we want to do here. And if we look at the whiteboard again, what we need to do next is this basic malware we created. How can we get this malware to a Windows machine and show you just how dangerous it is for us to leave our systems defenseless without having antivirus solutions that is up to date running on our corporate systems. If malware make its way into any of our corporate systems, just want to demonstrate how severe that could be to that, not only just that system, but also the entire systems on the network. All right, that will be the second task now. To do that, want to get into the lab once again. So here we'll be using Windows 10 machine as the victim and Kali Linux machine as the attacker machine, right? So I'll have to close on this browser. I want to ensure that my Kali machine can get across my Windows machine. Once again, we'll have to check what the IP address of the Kali machine is by typing ifconfig. And here you could see that my Kali machine is on 10.0.2.4. And let's hover over to the Windows 10 machine and see what the IP address is. So in Windows machine, we do ipconfig. In Linux, we do ifconfig. So having done ipconfig here, you could see my Windows machine is on 10.0.2.12 and my Kali machine is on 10.0.2.4. So both of those systems are in the same network. Let's see if the Windows machine can reach out to Kali. Ping 10.0.2.4. And sure enough, we can get to the Kali machine. Let's go from the Kali point of view and ping the Windows machine, which is on 10.0.2.12, ping 10.0.2.12, and sure enough, both systems can communicate. So the first thing to do, just Control-C to abort the ping. So bring up the whiteboard, and in doing this number 2 here, the first thing to do is to go to the Kali PC, right? On the Kali PC, we are going to do 2 things. One, we are going to ensure that we create a folder in the web page directory of this Kali Linux and make sure that inside that folder that we're going to create, we get the malware into the folder, right? And secondly, we're going to enable a web server service. So web server service will be enabled. So that's it. Now, why we are doing this is we want to be able to access the malware from the Windows 10 machine through a web browser and download it into the Windows 10 machine. We know the hackers out there have different schemes or different methods that they use to deliver malware. We're not going to go into that. This is a demo, so we are going to do it in a layman's way. We're going to manually take the malware into the victim's computer. So let us get into the Kali. So I'll bring up the Kali machine once again. Cool, minimize the terminal here. So on the desktop of your Kali, just double click on File System and make sure you select the root. And here on this tab here, you can see I'm on root. So on this tab, click where I hover my mouse and type /vr/www/html. Hit the enter key, and this is where we want to get to. So you could see already I've created a file here named Evo Files. If I open up the file, you see I have my antivirus sitting inside. All right, so all you need to do is just right click inside here and click on create a folder, give the folder a name and click on create, and then navigate to where your malware is. Of course, my own is on root, and I've actually moved it from root also to desktop. So if I go to desktop, copy the malware, have to come back here, just one step back, open the folder you have created, right click and paste the malware, right? Very simple. So with that done, we can say that step 1, creating a folder and moving the folder or moving the malware more like into the folder, we've achieved that step. Now, second step is to enable a web server service. And how do we enable a web server service inside the Kali machine? Well, so let's get back to the Kali machine now. And what we need to do is to bring up our terminal, right? So here, just clear the screen one more time. We're going to type service Apache 2 start. Apache is a web server, and that actually turns on web service. So we can see that our prompt is back, and that means that the service is running, right? So that is it from the Kali Linux point of view. And so let's hover over to Windows 10 machine. Before I download this malware from Kali Linux into this Windows 10 machine, let me just emphasize that I've already gone to Windows Defender and turn it off, right? Windows Defender detected the malware, and that's why Windows Defender or any other form of antivirus solution should always be turned on in our system. So whenever you want to install an application and your antivirus is flagging that application, you have to be very careful. Not always a good idea putting off your antivirus in order to install an application, right? So the malware already was deleted here by my Windows Defender, but I have to go and put it off so that I could just download the malware here. This is a virtual machine, so if the malware would not harm anything in this machine, I could easily delete this machine and create a new virtual machine, right? So open a new tab here and point to the IP address of my Kali 10.0.2.4. So you could see that not yet here. I just want to get to the Kali itself 10.0.2.4, 10.0.2.4, right? So let's remove /evo files 10.0.2.4. Okay, so why I'm pointing here is because we, on the Kali side, we did service Apache 2 start, and that turns up, puts on a web service on the Kali. So you could see a web page running, which is a website running on that Kali machine. Now I have to put /evo files to navigate to that folder where we put our malware. So /evo files, the spelling must be exactly what we named the folder on the Kali. Hit the enter key, and it has taken us to a directory inside the Kali web service. Here is the malware we put in that folder, and we're downloading the malware. And you could see AntiVirus, which is the name of the malware, is not commonly downloaded and could harm your computer. Notice that already we put off Windows Defender, but then I didn't turn off completely the Windows firewall on this system, and this firewall is still flagging this as a harmful software. So always pay attention to messages like this anytime you are downloading an application from the public internet, and make sure that the antivirus or your Windows Defender running on your PC is not at any point turned off, just as I turned it off here in order to do this demo. So quickly look at downloads. So once again, it's telling us that this program is not commonly downloaded and could harm your PC. So we could just hit on run, and the smart screen is of course going to give us a warning, but we just click on more info, and we should be able to see run anyway. Okay, so the malware is being installed on this system. And you know that this is only possible because I've turned off all the protections I have on the system, including the real-time protection of my Windows Defender. Never try to turn off these guys in the real world. This is just a demo to show you how the impact a malware can have when it finds its way into our systems. That's if we don't have antivirus that is up to date running on that particular system. So let's go back to the Kali machine, and you see, have to sign in again. You notice that the malware has been delivered to the target system manually through a web browser, which is our Windows 10 machine. Now, what can we do to leverage on that malware and break into that Windows 10 machine? Once again, we have to clear our screen, and I'll be sharing a notepad here. We're going to say MSF console. Of course, we used MSF Venom, the command we see above here, to create the malware. Now we want to use Metasploit's framework console to see if we can leverage on the malware and break into that Windows 10 machine. So I'll be doing copy and paste from the notepad to the Windows machine. So we'll get into our Kali machine rather, not Windows. So here we are pasting the command MSF console, and we wait for the tool to launch. And then we're going to tell the tool that we're going to use multi-handler. All right. And we're going to set our payload, of course, because we are trying to break into a Windows machine. We're going to use a Windows payload. And we're going to set our L host, which is local host, to whatever the Kali IP is. Set L port, which is the local port number, to any port number of our choice, and then we'll run the exploit. Okay, so these things we are doing is only possible because I've turned off the protection of my Windows 10. Otherwise, at the entry point of the malware into the Windows 10, my antivirus solution would have detected and deleted the malware. Very important, never to ever turn off your protection from your system, be it a Windows Defender, Windows Firewall, or you're using third-party protection like Kaspersky. These things should always be running, even if we are prompted to turn them off when we want to install some application. So the Metasploit has been launched, and you could see we are using MSF6 here. And so we're going to say we want to use multi-handler. So as we see in that notepad, so I bring it up. So we are using multi/handler. All right, let's get back to the Kali machine. So so we want to use multi-handler. So I'll be doing more of a copy and paste to make the process faster. All right, what do we do next? We're going to set our payload to Windows payload. I'm also going to set the local host to the IP address of your Kali. So payload here will be Windows payload because this attack is meant for a Windows machine. And we're going to set our local host, or L host for short, to whatever the Kali IP is. In this case, my Kali 10.0.2.4. We are also going to set the local port number to anything of your choice. Could be 8080, but here I'm using 4444. And at this point, you could run the attack or the exploit. So if we come back here and look at the notepad, we either have to type run or we'll type exploit, right? So let's see what happens when we do that. So go back to the Kali and type run. and we should start a reverse TCP handler on that Kali machine. So at this point, I go back to the Windows machine and navigate to the download folder. We'll have to interact with the malware. So on the download, we should see the malware sitting there. And all I need is to right click on the malware and run as an administrator. Once again, the smart screen is going to warn us. So we're going to run it anyway. And we're going to say yes to that. And let's see what happens on the Kali. You notice that I run the malware as an administrator. It's actually going to give me full access into this Windows 10 machine. Once again, if you're installing an antivirus or installing any third party or any software on your system, avoid running or installing this program as an administrator, so that if there is some sort of malicious content in that application, the developer of that application should have an admin access into your system. Just double click on the software and install. Don't install it as an admin. All right, so get back to the Kali machine. And then pretty much we are inside our Windows 10, right? So we have opened a session 1, and the connection is from 10.0.2.4 on port number 4444, which is what we specified here and what we specified here. And we have connected to a system 10.0.2.12 on port 49997, and 10.0.2.12 is our Windows 10 PC. At this point, what we can do is to get the system information and to get the username of that Windows 10. So let's go over to the Kali machine. I'll bring up my Kali. That's okay. We have a connection open to which system? So let's see the details of the system. We are connected to sysinfo. Enter. And here it tells us that, in fact, the computer name we have connected to a sales PC, and the operating system running on that computer is Windows 10. Architecture is a 64-bit operating system. US English is a workgroup computer. Currently, 2 users are logged on. The owner of the system, and we, because we have also connected to that system through the Metasploit framework. So that shows exactly that we are inside that Windows 10 machine, courtesy of a malware that is seated on the download directory of that system. So here we can say, okay, let's see what you're using as a username. So get UID, UID, that is user ID, hit enter key, and it tells us that that particular system, that is sales PC, the username is IT admin, right? And this exactly is what we're having in that system. If I click on the Windows icon on that system here and go to accounts, so you can see here, IT admin, that's my username, right? So let's get back to that Kali machine. So get to the Kali machine. What do we do next? Now that we're inside that Windows 10 machine from a Kali Linux operating system, we can even go ahead and drop the shell, which is opening up the Windows 10 command prompt from inside our Kali. If we like, we could create a user, password the user. The command net user is to add a new user, /add. That means we are creating a user. CH is the name of the user, and 88811 # is the password. If need be, we could also make that user a member of a local group. And in this case, we want that user called CH to be a member of the administrators, right? We can also make that user a member of remote desktop users, right? And so you see, we could control, manipulate this machine from a Kali Linux operating system from the command prompt of that machine by simply dropping down to shell. So let's exactly do that. So I'm going to do shell, and that will be on the Kali. So drop down to Kali, and we'll just type shell and hit enter key, and you could see here now that channel 1 was created, and it was created where? On a Microsoft Windows operating system. And you could see that I'm inside the users, followed by the username of the system, IT admin, and we are currently in the download directory. I could navigate from one directory to the other, right? So we can get out of here with cd ... You see, we're out of the download. We can do cd desktop to navigate into the desktop, etc. All right, so what can we do here? Well, we can create a user. So use the command net user, and then add a user called admin. So let's change this CH to test. All right, username will be test, password will be 88811 #, and we also change this guy to test. All right, so let's copy the first command, net user, username test, and password 88811 #, and we go back to the Kali machine and we paste that command. All right, so paste. And hopefully, yeah, so here you see command completed successfully. So if we hover over to the Windows 10 machine, you see presently we have a username of IT admin, Joy, and OB, right? But if we check again, we should be able to see that now the username of test has also been created. So if I click on IT admin to switch a user, you could see we now have Joy, We also have OB, and most recently we have created a user called test. Now I want to go to the command prompt of this Windows 10 just to check something. CLS to clear the screen, and here I could say control user passwords 2, control space user passwords 2, enter. And then it brings up this window here. So you could testify here. This is a user we created. We call it test. And we could go to advanced tab, and then go to another advanced tab here in the middle of the page and just open up the users folder. Now you see all the users we have. We actually created this user test from our Kali Linux machine just to prove that we've been able to break into that Windows 10 machine from the Kali, courtesy of a malware sitting on that Windows 10 machine. So if I double click on this test user, my mouse is acting up. So I need to open this test user. All right. And then we go to member of. So you could see that this is a member of users. So it doesn't have an admin right, right? So let's get back to the notepad. We can actually give that username of test an admin right by using this command to make him a member of administrators group. So let's go ahead and do that. So get back to your Kali machine. And here we're going to paste the command net local group, and the command completed successfully. So let's get back to the Windows machine. Here you notice that this user is just a member of users group. Let's close this window and let's go back. So my mouse acting up. All right. So go to member of, and you can see that it's not just a member of users, but also is now a member of administrators, courtesy of the command that we just pasted. Now we can even turn on remote desktop connection on that system. So if we let me copy the command first. So if we go back to the Kali machine, we are going, to the Windows machine. Let's check if remote desktop is currently enabled. So open the file system, the file explorer, right click this PC and go to properties. Now on the properties tab, we're going to go to remote settings. And you could see that presently this system will not allow remote connection, meaning you cannot connect to this system from another system on the network. But that can all change from the Kali Linux perspective. So from here on the Kali, we could say want to turn on remote desktop connection. So paste that command completed successfully. Go back to the Windows 10. Users that are allowed to now use remote desktop to connect to this Windows, you could see that a test user is a member of remote desktop users. So that's exactly what the command we just pasted now is doing. So this command and net local group remote desktop users is actually adding a username of test to be a member of people allowed to do remote desktop, which exactly is what we are seeing here. But we know that even though we have allowed a username of test to connect to this system from elsewhere, remote desktop service is still turned off, right? So we could still enable it from the Kali point of view. So here, to enable remote desktop, you are going to go to registry and then go to HKey local machine, go to current control sets, terminal services, and eventually you are going to enable your remote desktop. So here, just have to get to the end. So see the difference. So terminal services connection, which is remote desktop, can be turned on or turned off. So you could see here, deny terminal services connection is on 0. 0 meaning we are not denying it, meaning we are turning it on. But if it's on 1, that means we are turning it off. So let's copy from here all the way up here. That will actually help us to enable remote desktop. Enable remote desktop here is not part of the command. It's just telling us what we're about to do. So copy the entire command, copy, and get back to the Kali machine. Once again, on the Windows 10, you see that remote desktop presently is not turned on. So it's on do not allow remote connection to this computer. So let's go to the Kali machine and enter that command. So here, paste. You can see command completed successfully. Let's see the effect of that command from Kali. If we close here and go back to remote settings, you could see that is now on allow. So we've successfully turned on remote desktop, and we've also successfully allowed the user test to be among those allowed to connect to this system. You notice that these black hat hackers are very intelligent. So when they create a user account on your system, they might not name it just a generic name like test. They might name it maybe Windows 10 or Windows Defender updates. If you see any funny or suspicious name in the list of your users in your PC, do not hesitate from deleting that account. All right, so we can as well turn off the remote desktop connection by running the second command and putting the digit to 0, right? So to 1. So 0 means turning it on, 1 means turning it off. So copy this command, go back to the Kali machine and paste it. So we are controlling this Windows machine from inside our Kali Linux operating system. And you could see that if we go back to the Windows machine to check, the remote desktop connection should go back to don't allow remote connection. So just cancel out of here and get back to remote settings. You see that we have successfully disabled it. So we can do anything on this Windows 10 machine from our Kali Linux. Why we're able to do all of this is because we have a malware sitting on that Windows 10 machine. So we can even open our network adapter, ncpa.cpl, and hit enter key. And if you go back to the Windows 10 machine, you see that our LAN adapter is launched. So you could see our Ethernet and all that. And this to show that if a malware gets into your system, an attacker can have full control to that system. Now let's just recap what we have been able to do so far. Let me pick up my pen. So we successfully uploaded our malware to antiscan.me, and we've been able to see some antivirus solutions that couldn't detect it as a malware. And we've also delivered the malware to a Windows PC. And with the help of the malware on the Windows PC, we're able to break into that Windows PC from our Kali Linux machine. Now, to prevent this kind of attack against any of your devices, either personal devices or corporate devices, we want to ensure that we always have a very strong antivirus solutions running all time in our systems. We want to also ensure that our antivirus solutions are always up to date, and we should never turn them off if we are installing any form of application. We also notice that it's not a good idea to run any application that you're installing on our system as an administrator, because if there is a malicious software in that application, the attacker could always have admin rights access to that system. And we also noticed that in this lesson, we do not at any point turn off our protection. Our antivirus, our Windows Defender, these things should always be running. And if you are installing a software and the software is being flagged as malicious by your protection solutions, you have to be very careful. Have to be very, very careful before you go ahead and disable your solutions in order to install the software. There must be a reason why your software is flagging that application you're about to install as malicious. All right. So once our systems are up to date, and also make sure that patch management is maintained. So patch management, like you do a regular Windows update, Microsoft will release security patches or security updates that you can download free of charge. And this will update all your Windows systems, your Windows operating systems, even sometimes your Microsoft Office packages like Excel, PowerPoint. Will make sure that all of these things are always up to date. Then we'll be able to kick malware out from our system. Remember also that when you receive unsolicited mails from asking you to take action, maybe they put an attachment in the mail telling you that this is the price list of different products that they sell. That attachment, that so-called price list, might actually be a malware. We don't want to click on that download because you might get a malware into our systems. And once a malware gets into your systems, the attacker will have access to that system, just as we have demonstrated. So all of these things, once we apply them in our personal or production environment, this kind of attack we demonstrated will not be successful. I hope you have benefited a lot from this demonstration, and thank you so very much for watching.